Hey besties, welcome in. For those of you who are new here, I'm Sabrina. This is Sabrina Reads and Roams, and I have narrowly escaped the flu. Um, yeah, it was touch and go. I'm not even gonna front with you guys. Like, I really thought this was the end of days for me. I was barely hanging on, but I have made it. My lung capacity has not quite recovered, so you'll pardon me if I am breathing heavily. There might be some extra edits in this video as I stop to catch my breath. And to be honest, I'm not my usual jovial self. I'm trying my hardest, but I am exhausted. So I'm sure you can hear it. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice, but whatever. That's not what we're talking about today. We need to recap what I read in the month of February because it's like the middle of March now. And we haven't talked about it yet. So let's just get started and hopefully I can make it through this video without dying. I also got a tattoo. This was my You Survived the Flu. It was planned before, but I survived, so I went ahead with the tattoo appointment. We'll talk about that in another video, but I have it hanging out so it can heal. But anyway, all right. So the first book that I read in February is Nikki Erlich's The Measure. I can't believe that I read this in February. This was like so long ago. I rated this one 4.75 stars. And like basically, you guys, everything that everybody said about this book was correct. This book was so good. This book just like really hooked me in. And I didn't think when I started reading it, I didn't think I was going to love it. But it really pulled me in. And at the end of it, I was like rooting for everybody except for that one. There was one character and I was like, girl, why can't it be you? She was just on my nerves the entire time. I think her name was Nina. I'm pretty sure it was Nina. Listen, but everybody else, I was like rooting for them and I was really like so invested in it and like trying to think like, what if this was me? Like if I was in this book and they like receive a box with a string in it and the string is the measure of your life. And so I was caught up in like, what if it was me? Like, would I open my box? Do I want to know what the measure of my life is? Like, how would I react in this situation? So, yeah, Nikki Erlich did a really good job on this. And so, like I said, 4.75 stars. And for Herkyed, I used this account in the I Missed Herkyed 1 prompt, which for that one, I'm using the ABC challenge and I use the in Nikki for the ABCs. So I'm getting pretty close on the ABC challenge. So, and she earned me 8 points. Then I read An Academic Affair. This one had its own reading vlog. I love this book. I thought it was super cute. I read it as my Valentine's Day read. We went on a date and everything. So I rated this one 4.5 stars. This one, it was such a slow burn, but it was so freaking worth it, you guys. Like, I really, really, really loved this book. And it took me a little bit longer to read it than I wanted it to. It has footnotes in it. And I thought, like, when I opened the book and I saw footnotes, I thought I was going to hate them, but I ended up loving them so much. So kudos to Jodi McAllister. And there is another book that's coming out in this universe. So our main character, his sister, is the follow-up book. So I can't wait to read her story. Like, I just love the way that Jodi wrote this story and I really want to read the rest of it. And so unfortunately, this one didn't fit any prompts in Herkyed, but it did earn me 7 points. Then I read The Determined on my Kindle. This was my introduction to Lady Pirates and I loved it. Like, why have I not been reading about pirates before? So I think I found a new kind of like genre of book that I want to read. I want to read about pirates. So Rachel Rickert did her thing in this book. This was an arc that I read and I had such a good time. I was so immersed in the world and so very interested in the people that it was talking about. This one is a historical fiction and it's based on real life people. And I'm just like, yes, I would like to read more of this, please. So I'm not 100% sure on this. I think this is a debut novel. And if so, like, yes, girl, like she did a credible job. This one I also rated 4.5 stars. And at some point, I totally forgot that I was reading a fiction. It just felt real and I felt like I was part of the story. So for Herked, this one I counted as a new release for February and I counted it in the Challenge Yourself. And so if you're new here, my Challenge Yourself for Herked, which listen, if you're new here, I don't think I told you what Herked is. That's the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. It is a year-long reading challenge that started on July 7th, right? Yeah. July 7th, and it goes till July 6th of 2026. And it is a challenge that is made up of 25 individual reading challenges. One of those is that you have to create your own reading challenge. And I challenged myself to read an arc for each month of the challenge, so each month of the year, and to post a detailed Instagram review. And so I've been doing that. And so for the month of February, I counted the Determined as my self-challenge. I should probably be explaining Herked way earlier in the process. And so it also earned me 13 points. In Herked, you can earn points for each book that you read based on certain like attributes of the book or the author. And those points can be used to like substitute books in, to short a prompt or to change a prompt or what have you. And so I have accumulated a ton of points and I haven't used any of them yet. I'm accumulating them in case I might need them, but fingers crossed I won't end up needing them. We'll see. After that, I read Legends and Lattes. This one was such a cute, cozy read. And I think that you probably know that if you've heard of Legends and Lattes, which I feel like most of us have heard of this at this point. Everyone just knows that it's a cozy fantasy. And that is exactly what it was. I loved this down and I had such a good time with it that I picked up the other book, Brigands and Bread Knives, I think it's called. I rated this 4 stars. And I listened to it on audio, so I didn't actually read the physical copy of it, but it was an Advent book. And you know what? I am just now realizing that I never posted the Advent short, like a review of my Advent book. I have a short that I filmed. I fully filmed it. I need to edit and post it. Okay, so I didn't do that, but I had such a good time reading this that I picked up the other book, okay? For Herked, I counted this in the subgenres of choice, and this counted as a cozy fantasy, and with that, I have completed the subgenres of choice prompt. She also earned me 7 points. Then I read and somehow actually managed to finish The Last Murder at the End of the World. If you've seen my other video, my Friday Night Lit episode about this book, I rated it a 2, okay? I just there was too much going on in this book, and I just couldn't keep track of all of it, and I feel like I didn't want to keep track of all of it. So that was, yay. I finished it, though. I did finish it. Like I said, I rated it 2 stars. I did not love this book. I have Stuart Turton's other book, The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, and now I'm kind of weary to read it, but I think that one might be a little more exciting than this one, so I'm still going to give it a chance. I already own it. I might as well just read it, you know what I mean? So there's that. This didn't count for anything in Herked, any of my prompts, but I did earn 7 points for it, so yeah. All right, then I read The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. Listen, I am a Le Guin fan at this point. Like, this was so good, and I don't think I had such high expectations for it. Like, I didn't think the book was going to be bad by any means, but I just wasn't like, oh my God, like, this is going to be such a good book. Like, I just was reading it. I intentionally picked this one up to meet the intersex prompt in the Herked. So this was a book. It's one of the very few that I specifically purchased for Herked. I would say like 98% of the books that I'm reading for Herked, I already owned or was already planning to own. But this one I specifically bought for Herked to meet the intersex prompt, and it was so freaking good, yo. So good. So if nothing else comes out of Herked, I found a book that I loved, found an author that I loved, that I want to read so much more from. And what I love about this book is that this was published originally in 1969. So this has stood this test of time. And it's still good in 2026. Needless to say, I rated this 5 stars. Like I said, I use it in the even bigger queer rainbow or alphabet. No, maybe it's the queer alphabet. What is the name of that challenge, y'all? That one. It's the one about queer folk, and I use it to meet intersex. Unfortunately, I could not find a second prompt to count it towards, but it did give me 9 points. After that, my friends, I read Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, your girl really put me through it in this book, okay? Bruh. Taylor Jenkins Reid, first of all, I'm always tempted to say Jenkins Reads. I don't know why. Is it just me? TJR is in a class with Kristen Hanna. Like, reading her books is just like torture, in the best way imaginable. Like, if you want to have an emotional time, TJR is where it's at. So, Atmosphere, love, love, love. I love this down hard. 5 stars. I was violently crying at the end. I have talked about this to the extent that I think it is possible to talk about it. It was rough, yo. It was rough, okay? But I loved it so, so, so much, to the point where this is going to be my book of the month from February. I'm going to replace When the Tides Held the Moon. I just realized that I should have been filming at a different angle so that I could show you guys where I'm putting my book of the month. I'll show you at the end, on display in my little display case. I'm going to be replacing January's book with Atmosphere. It was so freaking good. So for Herked, I used this in the TBR game, which I played a TBR game called Cat and Mouse, but it was created by Leandra, the TBR Zero. I have filmed the video because I had to play the game. I have not edited or released the footage of that yet. I told you guys I had the flu. Things are behind schedule. I need to get on that, okay? I will be showing you guys me playing the game, but one of the books that I had to read as a result of that game was Atmosphere. So I counted this towards the TBR game challenge, and I also counted it in the Heritage Month prompt under Women's History Month, which was in March, even though I read this in February. So I didn't get bonus points off of it, but I counted it towards that prompt, and yes, this earned me 9 points. Then I read Inheritance by Nora Roberts. This is book 1 in the Bride trilogy, the Haunted Bride. I'm going to put it on the screen because I forgot what the trilogy is called. Anyway, this was book 1. I rated it 3 stars. I thought it was nice. It was a nice, neat, middle of the road kind of book. It wasn't like incredible. And I think because it was kind of a longer book, like I'm talking like 400 something pages, and it was essentially just all world building. Like almost nothing happened in this book, but it was enough that I really want to read book 2 and possibly book 3. So, very middle of the road, 3 stars. I was not able to count it for any of the Herked prompts, but it did earn me 6 points. I also read an arc called All We Have Is Time, and we're not going to get into it. The book was pulled from publication, like on publication day itself, and it's a little unsure what's happening with it. I think that after reviewing it, like when I was reading it, I was like, yeah, this is very similar to Addie LaRue, but I went back and actually opened the Addie LaRue book pages and was skimming through it. And I was like, oh, it's not just similar. It's exactly the same. So I did think the story was good. I mean, I ended up rating it 3.5 stars before I went back and realized exactly how similar it was to Addie LaRue. So, I thought it was good. And I think that I should not give it a rating at all, to be honest, because of the plagiarism issue. So I wasn't able to count it in any Herked prompts, which is fine, but I read it and I did give myself the 10 points for reading it. And then lastly, I read a nonfiction. This one is called Black Owned, and hold on, let me read you the whole title. It's Black Owned, The Revolutionary Life of the Black Bookstore. This is by Shar Adams, and this one was recommended to me by someone in the comments. Flu brain. I think this was Brittany. Yes. My brain's just not firing on all the cylinders. I am 100% certain that this was recommended to me by Brittany down in the comments, and this was a great recommendation. It's a nonfiction, so it's like kind of like, should I rate this? Should I not rate this? I ended up rating it a 5-star because it was such a good history lesson on bookstores owned by Black people. And as someone who's considering opening a bookstore, I ain't got no money, y'all. I don't have any money to open a bookstore, but if I did, I would open a bookstore. You know, when people were like, if I won the lottery, I wouldn't tell anybody, but there would be signs. I would suddenly just own a bookstore. Don't make me laugh. I'm going to cough. So as someone who's considering owning a bookstore, it honestly never occurred to me that me owning a bookstore would mean bringing a Black-owned bookstore to the community where I live. Near me, the only Black-owned bookstore that we have is a children's bookstore. It's called Liberation Station, so shout out to them. But we don't have any Black-owned bookstores near where I live for adult books. And it did not occur to me that if I were to open a bookstore, it would be a Black-owned bookstore. I don't know, like it just never crossed my mind. But one thing this book kind of like opened my eyes to was that there are a severe lack of Black-owned bookstores, and that is something that communities really need, because it kind of brings a little, indie bookstores bring a little something to the scene, and then Black-owned bookstores bring a little something extra to the scene. And so now I'm kind of feeling like I really do need to figure out how to open my bookstore so that we can have this kind of community space that is Black-owned, that is centered around a number of minority things. And I thought, I thought it would be funny if I had a bookstore, not funny, but just a fun thing to do. If I had a bookstore that was full of minority representation, and then I had that one little shelf. You know, when you go to a regular bookstore and they have the one little shelf of diverse books, I was just going to have one little shelf of books by white people. I don't know why I was like, that's funny. People probably would be mad at me though. And unfortunately, the publishing industry is largely white, so I would have to stock more than just one little shelf. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about this on the internet. The bookstore doesn't even exist yet, but I could probably find grants for minority owned things. I mean, right? Maybe I don't actually have to have all of the seed money for this. So yes, I ended up rating it a 5-star. I was like, do I need to rate it or should I not? But it was such a good book and it was so educational that I thought it deserved the 5 stars. There was also in the back of this book, there is a list of, at the time of publication, all of the currently opened Black-owned bookstores around the country. And so I thought that was neat. So for Herked, I counted this as the Heritage Month's Black History Month book. I read it in February, so I got the extra 5 bonus points for it. I also counted this under the TBR game. And then I was going to use it as a triple up for a nonfiction, but then in March I ended up reading another nonfiction, so I don't need to. But I also read this as the secret prompt for Herked. And the secret prompt was something Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. You had to read a book that had a color in Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat listed in the title. I think I said all of that right. So black was one of the colors. So I got the secret prompt, and that secret prompt allows you to count any book in Herked for as many prompts as you absolutely can. I don't think I'm even going to use that because the brain power involved in that is just too much for me. But It's there if I need it. So this earned me 18 points in Herget. That includes the 5 bonus points for reading Black History during Black History Month. Those are my February reads and how I counted it all in Herked. And so here is the overall Herked bingo board. I got a couple of prompts finished in there. I don't know why I didn't write it down and I don't remember, and my battery's dying, so I can't really tell you. I want to say that I finished. I mean, you guys obviously saw it on the screen when I showed it along the way, but I want to say that I finished the queer alphabet and subgenres of choice. So we're getting there. We are making such good progress on Herked. We're getting towards the end. We're filling in squares. We're finishing challenges. And let's go hang up Atmosphere in our Book of the Month display case. So thank you guys for watching and for hanging out with me, for coming back after I finished having the flu. And if you wouldn't mind hitting the like and subscribe buttons for me, that would be fantastic. I will love you forever. And I will see you guys all in the very next video.